Hello everyone out there, my name is Robert Greene. So use the brain to generate negative ideas, to generate other possibilities, to tell yourself, this isn't what I should be doing. I shouldn't be indulging in this behavior. I know it sounds awful, but I think we need a lot more negativity in our life as far as that process of thinking. Hello everyone out there, my name is Robert Greene. I'm the author of several books. My first one is perhaps the most famous one, The 48 Laws of Power. I've also written The Art of Seduction, The 33 Strategies of War. I co-wrote a book with the rapper 50 Cent called The 50th Law. I did a book called Mastery, Another Laws of Human Nature. My most recent book, The Daily Laws. As you can tell, my books sort of center around subjects dealing with power and interpersonal relationships. Well, as a lot of you might know, I'm planning on writing a book on what I call the law of the sublime. It's a subject that's sort of the 18th last chapter of the laws of human nature. But I had toyed with a different book before I decided on that, which I think might be my next one, which is basically about the power of negativity, the power of negative thinking, which is the opposite of what we normally think. We think we have to be positive, that positive thinking is the best attitude towards life. And I believe that we need to be actually a lot more negative in our thinking. And I came upon some research that I'm doing right now about the human brain for a chapter I'm writing in the Sublime book that I found very pertinent and very exciting. There's a very famous experiment in neuroscience called the Readiness Potential by a neuroscientist named Benjamin Libet, or Libet, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Anyway, the idea is that, and it's a very fascinating idea, is that before you decide to take an action, like move your hand or flick your wrist, some kind of activity is going on in the brain. A brain wave is generated before you're aware of it, before you're conscious. It is actually getting the body prepared to make that movement. That's called the readiness potential. And Libet showed that that occurs 550 milliseconds before you actually take an action. And what this meant, I know it's a lot of arcane knowledge, but what this meant was that there's no such thing really as free will. Because before you're conscious of taking an action, of moving your wrist, for instance, the brain has already primed you to do it before you're even aware of it, which means you don't control your own actions. There's no such thing as willpower. The brain is determining what you're doing, and then suddenly you become aware of it. And his study demonstrated that you don't become aware of this brainwave, this impulse, until about 150 milliseconds before the action takes place. So first there's a brainwave that signals you're going to do this. Then some 350 milliseconds later, you become aware of that brainwave, and then an action is taken. And a lot of people glommed onto this to say there's no such thing as free will. But Libet said it's actually the opposite. And the famous neuroscientist Richard Gregory called this not free will, but free won't. That what we have is really free won't. So in that 150 milliseconds before you actually take an action and you're aware of it, you have the ability to block that action, to veto it, or to alter it. So really what it means as a human being to have willpower, to have some control, is not by what you generate, by the ideas that come through your mind, but by why you stop, what you block, what you veto. So if you've ever done any kind of meditation, which I do every morning, I've been doing for many, many years, you know that you have no control over your thoughts. They bubble up like you can't, like they're racing through your mind. Suddenly I'll have a thought, an image will pop up, something really strange or some memory, and I go, where the hell did that come from? I have no control over it. I have no willpower. But what meditation teaches you is you can block those thoughts. You can control them. You can become aware of your emotions before they happen. You can gain some control of what you decide not to do. And so to me, that is true power, that is true control, and that is where that's what I'm telling when I say the power of negative thinking. There's a quote by Nietzsche that I love and I'm going to butcher, but the essence of it is, we can judge people by what they don't do, by the costs of things that they don't delve into, right? So the things that you don't do, the stupid decisions that you don't take, the toxic people that you don't get involved in, the toxic relationships that you avoid, the bad people out there that you don't hire, etc., etc. That's where power lies. And so you need to be generating more of this, what we call free won't. So continually thoughts and ideas are bubbling in your head, and you're acting on them, thinking that you're conscious, that you're in control, and you're not in control. You need to be aware of that. And you need to be aware that every time some exciting prospect sparks in your head, etc., you want to train yourself to step back and look and say, is that really me that's controlling this? Maybe that's a bad idea. Maybe that's a thought I shouldn't have. Maybe I shouldn't act on that. And that kind of awareness, that kind of little gap between that lapse between the thought and the action is where true power lies. So, you get somebody angers you, and you want to write a really awful, bitchy email in response, which I know I've often done. This little gap here in your brain goes, you're going to regret that. Step back. Don't do it. Free won't. And say, what I really need to do is write that email and put it in the draft folder and wait till the next day and see. That period where you step back and you analyze your emotions instead of acting on them is where true power lies. So use the brain to generate negative ideas, to generate other possibilities, to tell yourself, this isn't what I should be doing. I shouldn't be indulging in this behavior. This is, these are other ways of action that I could take. And to me, that's sort of the book that I want to write perhaps next. I know it sounds awful, but I think we need a lot more negativity in our life as far as that process of thinking. And of course, if I do write a book on that, I'll go much more deep. That's to give you a taste of what other